Bob Chapman, the international forecaster, is coming up at the 8 after next hour. Former Congressman James Traficant will be with us another 5 minutes in the next hour, and he says he wants to come back. We really appreciate his courage. I've studied him. I've looked at what he's done. I looked at why he took the case of this supposed camp guard. Turned out it was just all lies. And the government knows that. The Israeli Supreme Court ruled that. Why did the Israelis tell the truth about this, but then in America, the Israeli lobby came after you? Is it two different groups or one different group? Or I mean, you were telling me during the break you think this is all going to hurt Israel, and that's not what you want?
No, absolutely not. I think I've been branded as anti-Semite, and quite frankly, I am a supporter of Israel. A supporter of Israel when they're doing what's right. When they do something wrong, I'm not going to be remiss here and not mention it. I believe that they have undue control of our government. But I'd like to say this to start with. The Israeli Supreme Court gave a lesson in justice to the United States of America. This was the most controversial case, perhaps, in Israeli history, one of them. And they looked at the evidence, Alex, and they said, take him home. Now, what everybody doesn't know, Alex, is that our government went back and wanted Israel to prosecute Demjanjuk again on this other charge, and the Israeli Supreme Court would not allow it. So let's give kudos where it's due. Let's give it to Israel and their Supreme Court. Now,
okay, so then how does the Supreme Court of Israel agree with you and the government files that prove it 100%? Why is AIPAC putting you in prison?
Well, I think it's once you're targeted, and they fired a woman in 1990 or 1991. I don't know if you remember this, Alex. A top-ranking woman in the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee, and she gave out their hit list of the politicians that they wanted to get rid of, and Jim Traficant was the #1 target in the world. And I think it was because the way I handled that case, no one would help me. And I went to the House floor, and I dramatically presented the case on behalf of Demjanjuk and his family. And I believe that I riled up many of the people, whether they felt that just the fact that I looked into this case, that no one should look into it. I had to have some anti-Semite blood. This is what they said.
And now Germany's hauled this guy off who's on the death's doorstep.
Yeah, I think they're holding and delaying this because I firmly believe that they do not want me over in Germany to speak out on this issue. I think they're holding this case up, holding that the old man will die over there. But what a shame. He was not guilty, Alex. Bottom line, and let me say this, when you allow one citizen's rights to be trampled, you endanger the rights of all Americans. And what the hell's wrong with us? What have we come to? What have we turned into here, Alex?
Well, that's why I support you, because, I mean, I looked at the facts, and you've been persecuted a lot worse than Siegelman, and he's been vindicated. You've been vindicated as well, but not. What comes next? I mean, how do you go after these guys? Do you sue people? Do you call for new investigations? What do you do?
I really don't have any strength to do that, but this fellow in Washington, D.C., this Richard Detour, may file suit. If he does, I will then back up into that suit as well, and it's going to be a long, hard struggle. But I think that there's so many revelations due that it's going to surprise an awful lot of people. But right now, I'm looking politically. I'm looking at politically not just for vengeance, but looking politically because I think America needs somebody to speak out on what the hell's going wrong, who's not afraid to speak out, who's not controlled by their party. I think too many of the politicians today have allegiance to the party, allegiance to the American
And
people.
So you're planning to run as an independent. Give us the battle plan.
I'm going to run as an independent, and this is a Democrat area. My chances aren't great, I'll be quite honest, as an independent. But I just don't see, I can't see anybody following Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid into battle. And I'll be damned, beam me up if I'm going to be involved in that party.
But I mean, why not use the machinery like Ron Paul does and use their machinery? You would still be an independent.
It would be impossible for me to do that. I would be so castigated here. I have to basically run as an independent. It'd be hypocritical for me to run now as a Democrat with the position that I've taken.
Okay, we got a break. 1 minute, sir. Stay there. Well, he doesn't do a lot of interviews. He did a big one on Fox News, as you know, a while back that sent shockwaves across the country. But he's been on with us for an hour, and he says he'll come back soon. We're very thankful. James Traficant, I was asking you during that 1 minute break, former congressman, other key points, and you brought up the fact that you have people in Washington that are telling you are being watched, and that there was a big secret investigation about the Demjanjuk case, but it was about how did Traficant get the info.
Yes, when I brought him home, the big investigation didn't center about how they suborned perjury to ruin this man's life. And this was a capital offense. He's going to be put to death, Alex. It wasn't about how they withheld evidence, about how they violated civil rights. It was how did Traficant get this information. Imagine that, folks. I mean, it's unbelievable, some of the things you hear. So I just worked very hard. I just put my nose to the grindstone and kept going, and that's about it. That's all you can do, Alex. But I'll tell you something. We've got a real problem. No one should fear our government. The government, if anybody, they should be fearing the American people. American people are the government. And we've got this thing so convoluted and messed up. It's really a crying shame, and it's got to be changed.
We also need to thank your wife in all of this, Patricia Traficant. She stood beside you. You stood beside her, and for better and worse. And people, if they do write checks to try to get you guys back on your feet to the address, they need to address those. You were telling me to Patricia Traficant, 429 North Main Street, Poland, Ohio, 44514. Congressman, we've got about 3 minutes left, and you were going to give me a liner for the show about...
Well, Alex, I've gotten volumes of mail all through the 7.5 years, and one of the reasons I got them is people followed my little 1-minute speeches. And I just didn't do them in the grandstand. I made salient points during that time and dramatized things that I think had to be made. But I became known for the statement, beam me up. And basically I just said beam me up because there's no intelligent life here. But here's what I'd like to say to the Alex Jones show. You don't need to be beamed up. Jim Traficant doesn't need to be beamed up on Alex Jones' show because there is an intelligent audience there, and there is a message coming out that's educating that audience. And believe me when I say this, if more people were listening to Alex and could listen to Alex, I think you'd see a direct and intended change as some of these misdirected policies that are coming out of Washington, so misdirected and absurd that if you threw them at the ground, they'd probably miss. So there's no need to beam me up here in Austin, Texas. There's intelligent life in Austin, Texas. And before I leave, again, I want to say, I don't know what happened to Chairman Archer, Bill Archer. But, Alex, I want you to run him down. I want you to find him. And I want you to say that Jim Traficant said thank you on behalf of the American people.
Absolutely. We've got about a minute left here. What's the time frame for the election for people to start getting behind you in Ohio?
Well, this means I'll be on the ballot in the November election, but I have to get signatures signed. I have to get petitions signed up until May the 3rd. I need a couple thousand signatures here, and it's going to be an uphill struggle. I'm not supported by any newspaper, any political party, any entity of anything, and it's an uphill struggle. But you know what? I've had it, and maybe get back to where we started.
Well, the first thing we need, and we're going to get some domains and just give them to you to make sure whoever the volunteer is doesn't just get a domain and keep it. We've already grabbed some domains. We're going to give them to you. You need to get a volunteer to build you a nice website with PayPal buttons, the rest of it. Get everybody doing these petitions now because we do need you in Congress to counterbalance all the offshore corporate forces and others that are doing this. And thank you so much, former Congressman James Traficant, for your courage, and we're all praying for you, and we're glad they weren't able to kill you or break your will in prison, and it seems you've come out even stronger on the other side.
Well, Alex, thank you for having me on your show. You've got a great show. You get a great message to the people. I think if I could leave anything there, I'd just say tune in to Alex's show, and I hope you get more coverage around the country. I think they need to hear a rational voice like yours. So thanks for having me, Alex, and good luck. Beam me up, but you don't need it down there in Texas.
Thank you.